Delusions of grandeur. The stars gleamed like scattered diamonds against the void as High Observer Zenlak stood on the observation deck of the Eternal Wisdom, his four-fingered hand pressed against the transparent viewing panel. Below him, the blue-green world the natives called Earth rotated slowly on its axis, clouds swirling across its surface in delicate patterns. "Beautiful world," commented Science Director Velina as she joined him, her scaled skin shimmering under the soft ambient lighting. "Though rather ordinary." "Quite," agreed Zenlax. "The Council wants our assessments submitted by tomorrow. I've already finalized most of it." For 15 years, the Galactic Concordat, an alliance of 23 spacefaring species, had observed Earth from a distance. The Concordat had strict protocols for pre-FTL civilizations: study, categorize, and never interfere. Earth had been classified as a protectorate world, too primitive for official contact, but showing enough promise to warrant regular observation. "What's your conclusion?" Velina asked, her double-lidded eyes blinking in sequence. Zenlak sighed, a habit he picked up from studying humans. "They're dreamers, primarily. Their literature, art, and even their sciences are infused with fantastical thinking. While creative, their fixation on mythology suggests they're centuries away from the rational thought necessary for interstellar travel." Later that night, Zenlax completed his official report for the Concordat High Council. Images of human art scrolled past his eyes. Paintings of impossible beasts breathing fire, stories of humans with powers that defied physics, and speculative fiction of faster-than-light travel that ignored the established laws of the universe. "Computer, final analysis," Zenlax dictated, his multi-jointed fingers tapping impatiently on his desk. The computer chirped in acknowledgement as Zenlax continued. "While humans demonstrate remarkable creativity, their obsession with the impossible, from mythological creatures to superhuman abilities, indicates a species still trapped in primitive thinking patterns. Their science fiction reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of cosmic principles. Recommend continued non-interference status for a minimum of 3 centuries." Zenlak submitted his report without hesitation. The Eternal Wisdom left Earth's orbit the next day, leaving humanity to its slow, unremarkable development, or so the Concordat believed. 132 cycles later, High Chancellor Resman was enjoying a quiet diplomatic reception in the Grand Hall of the Concordat Council when the alarms began. Red lights pulsed along the curved ceiling as council members of various species rose from their seats in confusion. "What is happening?" demanded Resman, the bioluminescent patterns on his skin flashing with agitation. Security Chief Tavik rushed to his side, mandibles clicking nervously. "Unidentified vessels have appeared at the edge of Concordat space. 7 ships of unknown design. Pirates. Outlaws from the fringe territories." "No, Chancellor," Tavik hesitated. "They claim to be from Earth." Resman's primary heart skipped a beat. "Impossible. They were assessed as pre-FTL for at least another 3 centuries." The main viewing screen activated, displaying 7 sleek vessels unlike anything in the Concordat database. Their design featured smooth, almost organic curves blended with geometric precision, propulsion systems that defied current understanding, and weapon ports that hinted at technologies no developing world should possess. In the command chair of the flagship Prometheus, Admiral Elena Chen surveyed the alien station growing larger on her view screen. The first human to lead an expedition beyond the solar system, she felt the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Decades of secret development following the discovery of the alien observation satellite in Earth orbit had led to this moment. "They're hailing us," Admiral reported her communications officer. Chen nodded. On screen, the face that appeared was distinctly non-human. A being with mottled green skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and what appeared to be gill-like structures along its neck. "Unknown vessels, you have entered Concordat space without authorization. Identify yourselves immediately." Admiral Chen stood, her uniform crisp despite the 3-month journey from Earth. I am Fleet Admiral Elena Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. We come seeking diplomatic relations with the Galactic Concordat. The alien's 4 eyes blinked rapidly in what Chen's xenopsychology experts suggested was extreme surprise. Earth is a protectorate world, incapable of interstellar travel. Chen allowed herself a small smile. As you can see, that assessment was incorrect. We request permission to dock and establish formal contact. Hours later, Ambassador Marcus Wong stood beside Admiral Chen in the grand meeting chamber of the Concordat station. Representatives of species humans had never imagined filled the tiered seating around them. Some with too many limbs, others with none at all, beams of crystalline structure, and entities contained in mechanical suits. "The Security Council will see the Earth delegation now," announced a mechanical voice. Wong stepped forward to the center of the chamber, feeling thousands of alien eyes upon him. He had rehearsed this moment countless times during the journey. "Esteemed representatives of the Concordat," he began, his voice steady and clear. "The United Earth Fleet comes in peace, though we are prepared for any outcome." He could see the ripple of reaction to his words. The implied strength behind the peaceful greeting was not lost on the gathered aliens. "For nearly 2 centuries, you have watched our world from afar, categorizing us as primitive and studying us like specimens. Today we stand before you not as curiosities, but as equals." The council chamber erupted in protests and exclamations. Chancellor Resman raised his hands for silence. "How did you achieve this level of technology?" Resman demanded. "Our assessments indicated." "Your assessments were flawed," Wong finished politely but firmly. "Humanity has always defied expectations. The same imagination you dismissed as primitive fantasy drove us to reach for the stars." Behind Wong, through the vast viewport of the chamber, the sleek warships of humanity's fleet gleamed against the starfield. Each vessel bore the name of a figure from Earth's mythology: Prometheus, Athena, Thor, Osiris, Amaterasu, Anansi, and Quetzalcoatl, the very legends that Zenlax had once dismissed as evidence of human limitation. "We've studied your observation satellite extensively," Admiral Chen added. "Your technology gave us a starting point, but we've developed our own path. The ships you see represent just a fraction of our capabilities." This was both truth and bluff. Earth had only these 7 ships, but the Concordat didn't need to know that. Science Director Valina, now much older but still recognizable to human intelligence analysts, leaned forward. "Impossible. The satellite contained only basic monitoring equipment, not advanced propulsion or weapons technology." "Perhaps that speaks more to human ingenuity than to your technology," Chen replied evenly. In the days that followed, the Concordat reluctantly established diplomatic relations with Earth. The revelation sent shockwaves through galactic society. Species that had existed in the cosmic community for millennia now faced a newcomer that had bypassed centuries of expected development. Not all reactions were positive. Several Concordat members, particularly the militaristic Vectari Imperium, viewed humanity's sudden emergence as a threat to the established order. During closed council sessions, Vectari representatives argued for containment and restriction of human expansion. These creatures leaped from atmospheric flight to interstellar travel in less than 2 centuries. General Drakath of the Vectari Military Council growled during one such meeting. "Their technology doesn't follow established development patterns. They're unpredictable and dangerous." Meanwhile, on the newly established human embassy vessel Unity, Ambassador Wong received a disturbing report from Earth intelligence. "Multiple Concordat species are advocating for restrictions on human expansion," his aide explained. "The Vectari are particularly vocal." Wong nodded grimly. "And our new colony on Proxima Centauri V. Proceeding as planned, but vulnerability assessments are concerning. If the Vectari decided to make a statement, increase security and accelerate the defensive installations," Wong ordered, "and inform Admiral Chen to maintain fleet readiness." The age of humanity had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. But whether humanity's entry onto the galactic stage would bring a new era of cooperation or conflict remained to be seen. Forged in fire. The sun rose over New Haven, casting long shadows across the first human colony established beyond Earth's solar system. Farmers tended their fields while children played in the streets of the settlement. 6 months had passed since humanity had shocked the galactic Concordat with their unexpected arrival, and life on Proxima Centauri was beginning to feel normal. Nobody noticed the dark shapes descending through the clouds until it was too late. Raiders. The warning came too late as plasma fire rained down on the outskirts of the colony. Prefabricated homes erupted in flames, and civilians ran for the central bunker as the settlement's modest defense force scrambled to respond. From his command ship in orbit, General Drakath of the Vecteri watched the attack with 6 eyes narrowing in satisfaction. His scarlet scales gleamed under the battle lighting of his bridge. "These humans have destabilized centuries of Concordat order," he said to his lieutenants. "They need to learn their place in the galaxy. This colony will serve as an example." What the Vecteri didn't know was that humanity had anticipated such a response. While the official Concordat had grudgingly accepted Earth's diplomatic overtures, intelligence analysts on Earth had predicted that certain factions might take matters into their own hands. Aboard the United Earth ship Athena, alarms blared through the corridors. Captain Amara Okafor rushed onto the bridge, securing her uniform jacket as she moved. "Status report," she demanded, dropping into the command chair. "Vecteri attack force hitting New Haven colony, Captain," her tactical officer reported. "We count 12 assault ships and 1 command vessel." Okafor's expression hardened. The Athena had been stationed in a stealth orbit around Proxima Centauri's outer gas giant, hidden from conventional scanners, precisely because Earth Command had anticipated such an attack. Battle stations. "Activate AEGIS systems and deploy Nihanesis units," she ordered. "Let's show these Vecteri exactly what they're dealing with." On the colony surface, the situation deteriorated rapidly. The settlement's small security team fought bravely, but was outmatched by the Vecteri's superior numbers and weaponry. In the command center, Defense Chief Rahul Sharma checked his ammunition and prepared for what seemed like a final stand. Then a voice crackled over the emergency channel. "New Haven Command. This is UES Athena. Hold position. Special response team inbound." A flash of hope crossed Sharma's face. "We'll try, Athena, but we're nearly overrun at the northern perimeter. If they break through there, they'll reach the civilian bunker." On the bridge of the Athena, Captain Okafor heard the transmission and made a quick decision. "Launch Nihanesis units now. Priority to northern perimeter defense." Within moments, 30 sleek pods shot from the Athena's launch bay, streaking through the atmosphere toward the colony below. Inside each pod was not a human soldier, but something the Concordat had never seen before. The pods crashed into the battlefield, doors blasting outward as smoke billowed around them. The Vecteri warriors paused in their advance, weapons trained on the mysterious arrivals. From the smoke emerged figures that appeared human at first glance, but were something far more. Standing 2.5 meters tall, the Nihanesis units were the culmination of humanity's centuries-old dreams of superhuman capability. Combat androids with artificial intelligence matrices modeled on the best human tacticians, housed in bodies that could withstand firepower that would vaporize organic tissue. "What are these things?" A Vecteri squad leader growled as the first Nihanesis unit charged forward at impossible speed. The android moved with fluid grace that defied its metallic composition, dodging plasma bolts with predictive algorithms before closing to hand-to-hand combat. Its reinforced limbs tore through Vecteri battle armor with ease. Across the battlefield, the other Nihanesis units engaged with similar efficiency, each one targeting priority threats with cold precision. In orbit, General Drakath watched in disbelief as his ground forces were systematically dismantled by these strange mechanical warriors. "Impossible," he hissed. "Target their deployment ship. All batteries, fire." The Vecteri command vessel, and its escorts turned their attention to the Athena, which had dropped its stealth systems to deploy the Immerse units. Energy weapons lanced across space toward the human vessel. But the Athena wasn't defenseless. As the Vectari weapons fire approached, a shimmering blue-gold field enveloped the ship, the AEGI's defense system, inspired by the mythological shield that protected Zeus. The energy weapons dispersed harmlessly against the field. AGG's holding at 92%, reported the Athena's defense officer. Minimal power drain. Captain O'Cuffer's lips curved in a grim smile. Return fire. Prometheus protocols. The Athena responded with weapons of its own. Not the conventional energy weapons the Concordat species used, but accelerated particle beams that bypassed standard shields, followed by self-guiding projectiles that adjusted their trajectory to target enemy weapon ports with uncanny precision. 3 Vectari ships erupted in flames. The others began evasive maneuvers, clearly unprepared for the sophistication of human weaponry. On the colony surface, the tide had turned. The Nemesis units had secured the northern perimeter and were now pushing the Vectari forces back toward their landing ships. One android stood atop a disabled Vectari tank, its armor scared but intact, scanning for new threats. From his command ship, General Drakath watched his forces being decimated and ordered a full withdrawal. As his vessel accelerated away from the planet, he stared at the tactical display showing the human defenses. "What are these creatures?" he whispered. 3 days later, Admiral Chen stood before the Galactic Council, recordings of the battle playing on screens around the chamber. The council members watched in silence as the Nemesis units performed feats that seemed to defy physics, while the Athena withstood firepower that should have destroyed it. "Is this recording altered?" asked one council member, mandibles clicking in agitation. "It is not," replied a Concordat observer who had arrived after the battle. "I witnessed the aftermath personally." "Your assessment classified humans as dreamers fixated on myths," Chen stated, her voice calm but carrying a steel edge. "What you fail to understand is that our myths weren't limitations, they were aspirations. The Nemesis units embody our ancient legends of heroes with strength beyond normal limits. The AEGI's system manifests our stories of impenetrable shields. We didn't just tell stories, we made them blueprints." She looked around the chamber, meeting the gaze of each council member in turn. "The Vectari attacked a peaceful settlement without provocation. We responded appropriately. We wish only peaceful coexistence, but we will defend our people. Remember that before you test our resolve again." The unspoken message was clear. The attack, while not ordered by the Concordat, had not been prevented either. Some suspected certain council factions had deliberately looked the other way, hoping to teach the upstart humans a lesson in galactic politics. Instead, the galaxy had learned something else entirely. The creatures from Earth were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. In the months that followed, humanity's position in the Concordat strengthened. Several species, impressed by human innovation, established trade and research agreements. The Vectari, humiliated by their defeat, retreated to their territory to reconsider their approach to the newcomers. On Earth, production of new vessels accelerated. Each incorporated technologies inspired by humanity's ancient myths and legends, from HFY reconnaissance drones to MJOLNIR orbital platforms. What the Concordat had dismissed as primitive fantasy thinking had become humanity's greatest strength. 1 year after the Battle of New Haven, Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of the newly commissioned Excalibur, Earth's largest vessel to date. Beside her, Ambassador Wang gazed out at the stars. "They still don't fully understand us, do they?" Wang asked. Chen smiled slightly. "No, and perhaps they never will. They categorize and analyze. We dream and create. They see the universe as it is. We see it as it could be. And that's our true strength," Wang concluded. "Indeed," Chen agreed, watching as a formation of Earth ships performed maneuvers in the distance. "They laughed at our legends until we made them real. Now the galaxy watches to see what we'll dream next. In the vast council chamber of the Concordat, a young analyst presented a revised assessment of human psychology to the assembled representatives. "We fundamentally misunderstood them," the analyst explained. "What we perceived as primitive mythological thinking was actually aspirational engineering. Humans don't just tell stories, they use them as frameworks for innovation. Their impossible dreams weren't evidence of limitation, but rather manifestations of potential." Chancellor Resman considered this with all four eyes blinking in sequence. "Then what should we expect from them next?" The analyst hesitated. "Based on their mythology and literature, anything. And that, honored representatives, is what makes them both valuable allies and formidable adversaries." The age of humanity had truly begun, and the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter in anticipation of what was to come.